And it does look like it's going. And then I'll start the recording. Okay. We should be good to go.
Okay, it's 5:29. We've got about 1 more minute. Do I get a, does it say anything? I just see that it says that we're recording. So I think we are on the record. It is 5:29. We will start a hearing at exactly 5:30, and the digital clock just rolled over to 5:30. It is 5:30, July 22nd. My name is Jim Brewer. I'm the hearings officer for the city of Salem. We're doing another virtual hearing. Due to the pandemic, the order of tonight's proceedings will be conducted with a staff presentation first, followed by the applicant's case, any questions that I might have at that point, and then due to the pandemic, testimony from neighborhood organizations, persons in favor or in opposition, or any rebuttal by the applicant will be limited to written testimony. We'll hold the record open to allow for additional written testimony, and I'm going to direct any additional comments to the case manager, Mr. Panko. The hearing is, let's see, this is sign variance, sign permit, case number VAR SI 20-02 for 850 State Street. The hearing is now open. Aaron, do we have the applicant as well tonight?
It doesn't look like they are on the meeting at this point. They do have a link and they may join us at some point later.
Okay. I don't know how many people might be observing on YouTube. I am going to go ahead and go through the criteria at this point. What we're looking at tonight is sign variances. An application for sign variance shall be granted if the following criteria are met. Compliance with the applicable standard would create an unnecessary hardship due to unique or unusual physical conditions of the property over which the applicant has no control, such as topography and lot shape, which are not present on other properties in the vicinity. They have the same zone designation. Hardship does not result from actions of the applicant, owner, or previous owners of the property. Sign variance is limited to the minimum reasonably necessary to alleviate the problem created by the unique or unusual physical conditions. 2, the sign variance is necessary to permit signage comparable with other properties in the vicinity, have the same zone designation. 3, the sign variance will not adversely affect the function or appearance of the development and use of the property and surrounding properties. And 4, the sign variance will not impose limitations on other properties' signage in the area, including signage that be allowed on adjacent properties. But this is a statute, yes?
This is.
Okay. I'm going to tell people who may be listening, and hopefully that includes the applicant, that failure to raise an issue accompanied by statements or evidence sufficient to afford the city or other parties the opportunity to respond precludes appeal to the State Land Use Board of Appeals based on that issue. Failure of the applicant to raise constitutional or other issues related to proposed conditions of approval with sufficient specificity to allow the local government or its designee to respond also precludes appeal to an action for damages in circuit court. Because of the remote nature of the hearing, these matters are going to have to be raised in written testimony. Similarly, if there are any objections on jurisdictional grounds, meaning that this shouldn't be in front of the hearings officer, provide those objections in writing as well. This is sign variance, sign permit case number VAR SI 20-02 for 850 State Street, that's Willamette University. I guess I have a disclosure to make. I am a graduate of Willamette University College of Law. That will not affect my decision in this case. I don't have any financial interest in Willamette, and nor do they have any in me, I think. And I believe that I can make a fair and unbiased decision based on the criteria and the facts of the case. May we have a staff report, please?
You bet. Zachary's going to run the presentation here. So whenever you're ready, Zachary, I am. My name is Aaron Panko, Planner 3 with the Community Development Department. This is sign variance, sign permit case number 20-02. At this time, I'd like to enter into the record the staff report, including its attachments.
And they will be. Thank you.
Thank you. Next slide. And the sign variance and sign permit request is for the installation of a 16-foot tall metal sculpture on the Willamette University campus. It's visible from State Street. The applicant is seeking a variance because the sign code in State Revised Code Chapter 900, Section 215B1B, limits the maximum number of freestanding signs along a street frontage to no more than 1, and limits the maximum display area to no more than 32 square feet. The proposed sculpture would be the third freestanding sign along State Street for Willamette University, and the display area is approximately 91 square feet. The request was first submitted on April 20th, 2020. After receiving additional information from the applicant, the applications were deemed complete for processing on June 25th. Notice of the hearing was mailed on July 2nd, and public hearing signs were posted on July 12th. The 120-day state mandated decision deadline is October 23rd. This is a vicinity map of the property. Property is approximately 34 acres in size. It has frontage along State Street, which is designated as a major arterial. 12th Street to the east is also designated as a major arterial. Winter Street to the west is designated as a local street. And then Bellevue Street to the south is designated as a parkway. The Willamette University campus is located in close proximity to our downtown area, which is just to the west. And the Salem Hospital is just to the south. Next slide. Thank you. This is a zoning map for the property. The property is zoned PE, Public and Private Education Services, with a small piece of it zoned for multifamily residential at the southern end of the property. There's a variety of zoning designations around the property. To the north is the PM, or Capitol Mall zoning designation for the state capitol. There's PE zoning to the west. To the east across 12th Street, there's a mix of commercial designations and mixed use. And then to the south, we have some commercial designations and then a PH, Public and Private Health Services zone. Next, thank you. This is an aerial photo that shows a majority of the Willamette University campus. The freestanding sign in question tonight is located near the intersection of Winter Street and State Street. You can see that we've highlighted it there on the map with that star. Next slide. And this is a site plan, again, that shows the location of the sign. And it also has a rendering of what the sign is. So it's a 16-foot tall metal sculpture that's designated as a sign. And this is a picture taken from street view along State Street that's looking towards, this is the arts building on the Willamette University campus. So the structure, the freestanding sign would be right next to the arts building there. So this slide shows our criteria for a sign variance. And addressing the first one, the applicant explains that the subject property is uniquely large at over 34 acres in size and has an unusually long frontage of over 1,300 feet along State Street. These physical conditions result in fewer signs along the street frontage than would typically be found on a major arterial street, where smaller lots would each be allowed their own freestanding signs. The applicant also explains that the proposed sculpture is an art installation that would be placed next to the art building on the Willamette University campus. The location was picked to minimize the impacts to the campus and its existing mature landscaping and trees. Addressing the second criterion, the subject property is located near the Capitol Mall, which has several art installations that are visible from public streets, including the Parade of Animals sculpture located at Wilson Park across the street from the property. Salem Hospital to the south shares a similar public zoning designation. And at the entrance to the Let's Go Play adaptive playground is an archway that was made from bricks from the former Howard Hall building. The archway is similar in size to the proposed sculpture. There's other examples of art installations in the nearby Salem downtown area and at City Hall. The proposed sculpture is similar to other art installations in the vicinity and is therefore consistent with this approval criterion. Addressing the third criterion there, the proposed sign will not be illuminated and does not carry a logo or any type of messaging. The sign will also have a relatively large setback adjacent to State Street at almost 30 feet compared to other freestanding signs that are usually placed at the minimum 3-foot setback line. The proposed variance will not adversely affect the function or appearance of the development and use of the property or surrounding properties. And addressing the last criterion there, in some cases, the approval of a sign has direct impact on what type of signage is allowed for adjacent properties. This includes installation of billboards, which have sighting requirements based on the location of other nearby billboards, or the installation of a freestanding sign for a shopping center with shared parking, but as separate owners. That may impact what kind of sign allowance is allowed for other users in that shopping center. But in this case, granting one additional freestanding sign for Willamette University will not impose limitations on the sign allowance for abutting or nearby properties. For the sign permit, aside from the number of freestanding signs and the maximum display surface that are being subject to the variance, the proposed sign is in compliance with the requirements for a sign permit. Due to the height of the proposed sculpture, the applicant has also applied for a building permit. We provided notice of the request to our neighborhood associations. I think there's 3 of them in this case. And then to citizens and property owners within 200 feet of the property. We did not hear a response from neighborhood associations or from surrounding property owners. And staff recommends that the hearings officer approve the request. Thank you.
Thank you. I don't have any questions at this time other than whether we have the applicant connected. And it doesn't look like they've chosen to do that. They're certainly not required to. I think that was a thorough staff report. I don't have we had any and I sent an email to Zach probably too late with a question of whether we've received any written comments since the staff report came out.
No, we haven't received any.
Okay. My inclination, unless somebody's getting urgent emails from the applicant saying that they can't get in, would be to close the hearing. The record will remain open until, I think that would be 5 p.m. July 29th would be a week. The applicant may then have until 5 p.m. on August 5th, but they can also certainly waive that. And I think it might be a good idea for staff to let the applicant know that if the applicant is listening right now.
Sure, we'll reach out to them.
With that, I think that I will close the hearing. Thank you for participating, and anyone who's observing. Again, these public hearings are important to the city. And if you have comments, we would like to get them. That's an important part of the process. The record is open for that purpose. Thank you. Another odd and COVID-infested hearing, I guess.
Sure. Thank you, Jim.